Hello, everybody. This is Miguel with SoCal Watch Reviews. Happy 2023. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to be going over 5 of my core watches. I have about, I lost count, probably 30, but some of those are review pieces and whatnot. So I figured I just give the 5 kind of core collection, the watches that I wear the most, the watches that have the most meaning to me. And I'm going to go in chronological order as I got them and kind of explain a little bit as to why I got them. I have a review for each and every single one of these watches. I'll leave that in the description, so I won't be going over any of the specs and stuff like that. I'll just kind of give you my thoughts on them. And starting off with the Omega Speedmaster, this is the reference number 3511.50. I got this before I started the channel, right as my son was born. So about 7.5 years ago, about 7 years ago, I got this straight from Japan. This was super cool. I was always in love with the Omega Speedmaster Professional, but it was a little out of my budget, and this was my first luxury watch, if you will. So spending a little over $1,000 on a watch was very scary at the time, especially buying it from eBay, right, and from Japan. But I did, and it's been a really good watch. Crazy patina on it. Everything works very nice on it, and it fits me very well. Just for reference, I have a 6 7/8 inch wrist. So yeah, the watch will definitely remain in my collection. I've considered selling it just because I don't really wear it, but every time I try to sell it or flip it for something different, I always get cold feet. And yeah, it's something that's going to remain in my collection because it just speaks to me in a different way, especially because it was the first luxury watch in collection. Next up is my Seiko SPB143. I mean, what can I say about this watch? I think most of you, when you think of Miguel and SoCal Watch Reviews, you think of this watch. I bought this watch to mark my 1,000 subscriber mark or celebration on YouTube, and this is about 2 years ago. So it's a very special watch to me. And as you can see, it's crazy some of the hard coating that Seiko puts on this watch. I've worn this watch and it doesn't show any signs of wear. A few scratches here and there on the bracelet, but yeah, this is definitely a game changer for me in terms of kind of opening up to the idea of buying a Seiko that's over $1,000. That was kind of crazy. My boy Omar, Timeless Sneakers and Watches, I had a conversation with him and he kind of convinced me to just pull the trigger on it, and it's one of the best decisions that I made. This watch is amazing. I recommend anybody check an SPB out. I know for some, spending this much money on a Seiko is crazy, but I promise you, the level of finishing and just the way it feels in hand is way different. And this watch is actually the watch I take on every family vacation. So I've built a lot of memories with it, and I absolutely love this watch. Next up, the Tudor BB58. So again, I got to give a shout out to Omar, Timeless Sneakers and Watches, David Schwartz, and P. Ross from Ross Wristwatch Love. All 3 of us were in a chat, in a group chat, and Omar started this whole thing with hashtag Tudor Bros, or just Tudor Bros, because he got his first Tudor. And honestly, that kind of, man, I don't know, that thing just cemented itself in every single one of our brains and kind of hearts. And at the end, we all ended up buying a Tudor. I mean, talk about peer pressure, right? But it was good peer pressure. It was more recognizing that Tudor is an amazing brand. And yeah, sure, it's owned by Rolex, but when you check out a Tudor in the metal, you realize that it has its own merit. And the Tudor BB58 is such a classic watch. And one of the cool stories is that I actually went to Tourneau. I had never seen one in person, a Tudor BB58, but I had a little bit of money saved up, and they ended up having one in the vault. And I wasn't ready to buy it, but my wife said, you know what, you have a little bit of your money that you saved up for this, but I'll give you the rest, kind of as a gift. I think it was my birthday. So that's a very, very special watch to me, and very versatile. As you can see, I have it on a NATO strap here, and it's an amazing watch. It's beautiful, very wearable, and in my opinion, underrated. Tudor's still underrated in the mass market of the world. Next up, Grand Seiko. This is the SPGM221. Beautiful watch. Soratsu polishing. I had never seen that in person until I bought this, and it's incredible. If you have yet to see a Grand Seiko, I highly recommend it. It's a completely different feel, emotion, kind of visual effect that Grand Seiko gives you, and I cannot explain it. I mean, on video it looks cool, but in person it just is, it's stunning. And something that I really like about this watch is that blue GMT hand. It's super cool. At first I didn't like the dial on this, that kind of yellowish kind of dial. It just, it wasn't my thing. It looked too vintage, but it really grew on me, and it's one of the favorites in the collection. It does feature a high beat movement, very versatile, and with different straps. Sometimes I throw it on a NATO, but the unfortunate thing is the 19mm lug width. I mean, that's a bit of a downfall, but to be honest with you, there's a lot of companies out there such as Vario and Strapsco that have a variety of different straps. So yeah, SBGM221, is this a keeper? I don't know, but I definitely always need to have a Grand Seiko in the collection. Okay, last but certainly not least is my latest acquisition. This is a Rolex Explorer 1. The reference number is 114270, and honestly, I did a video about this, so sharing my emotions about, I never thought I would have expensive things, let alone watches, right? And Rolex, right? In my culture, Hispanic culture, Rolex is well known just like any other culture, but it's always kind of the pinnacle of, I want to own a Rolex. For me, obviously, it's a little different because I'm a watch guy. It's a beautiful watch. It's definitely worn, and I want to keep it that way, right? I don't want to polish it. But there's something about the simplicity of this watch that makes it very sporty yet very elegant. So I would say out of all my watches in my collection, this is probably the most versatile watch. You could feel like $1,000,000 wearing it, but you throw it on a NATO or maybe a leather strap and it completely changes the feel of the watch. And honestly, it's just one of those watches that I would never see myself parting with. And I definitely told my wife that I want this particular watch to be the watch that I give to my son. Honestly, he's keeping the whole collection, but this is the one that I want to engrave when he reaches a milestone in his life. But yeah, guys, so that is kind of the core collection. Let me know if you guys are interested in seeing the other watches. I definitely have other cool watches in my collection, but these are the core watches. These are the ones that I'm the most proud of, if you will, and they all have like a really cool story attached to them. And of course, I'm building more memories. I got some things and plans in 2023, partnering up with some other cool companies, and yeah, hopefully adding another nice piece to the collection in 2023. So anyway, I hope you guys stay blessed, have an amazing 2023. Let me know what you think of my collection. And again, I feel a little weird doing these style videos because I don't want anybody to think I'm showing off or anything like that. It's not about that. It's just about sharing my passion and sharing the story of each one of these watches. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for the support. Take care. And as always, my friends, stay humble.